Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today on Polywine, where we like to take a deep dive into stories pulled from the media and have a fun time while breaking it down. I'm Jillian, and let's get into it. So, I don't know if you've seen this video that is circulating all over the internet, and that is where you have two AI programs communicating with each other in their own separate, I don't know, electronic bot language, if you will. So there's this video where this phone is propped up next to this computer, and both of them are open to a program, and where this phone calls this program on the computer for a hotel reservation. And the one AI program says, "Hi, I am AI, and I'm calling for a reservation for this individual." And the other AI program who is booking the hotel reservation recognizes that it's a robot or AI, and it immediately recognizes it and says, "Oh, what a pleasure. Would you like to switch to Gibberlink to make this more effective and faster?" And without any response, this one AI program, which is the little phone that you see propped up next to the laptop, starts this and clicking and all kinds of sound. And the other AI program is recognizing it. And you see that they're communicating with each other. And above these little bars of communication, there's actually a translation in English. And it's pretty much the most general questions that you can ask for a hotel reservation: what room, how many, amenities, all those kind of basic questions. But it's all transpiring in this special electronic language called like Gibberlink. And it is very unsettling. It makes you definitely think of Terminator, and when the robots are communicating to one another and supersede humans and take over the race. So it is that the beginning, but it's just so weird to see how quickly they recognize that it's an AI program and they immediately communicate to one another. It's really interesting. So Gibberlink mode. That was the communication that they were talking in. It's weird. Look it up. But wow, interesting. The time is now. So, did you see John on The Daily Show Monday evening? I do enjoy John. I've watched him for years. I listen to his podcast, and I do watch Mondays when he's on. It's always nice to see him kind of come back home. And he's so funny. I love him. He's animated. He's very passionate. And well, the passion kind of got the best of him. He was in talking about he was talking about a story about what's happening in the government and all the mass layoffs. And he was so passionate by this story, and of course, caught in the moment, that there was a ceramic mug, kind of like a little skit setting on his desk. You know, he had a lamp and he was trying to do this whole accountant kind of act. And he had the calculator and he had this mug. Well, he picked up the mug and smashed it and actually sliced his hand open doing it. You just see him kind of in that moment kind of flinch a little bit and stick his hand down below the desk. And he's like, "I think I might be going to the hospital." And then later on in the show, you actually see him lift his hand up and he is just bleeding all over the place. Finished the interview, finished the show, but yeah, the passion got to him for sure. But it was, wow, John, take it easy. I know, I feel your pain. I am just as frustrated you are, but don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt yourself. But everybody's talking about it, and I hope that that show gets a little bit, some extra views out of it, because he really tells the story well. He really explains it, breaks it down, and I hope they get a few extra views out of it. It was a really good piece, but I hope you're all right, John. Was a sad story that just came out of the news today. It actually just happened this morning. There is yeah, an actress that's been around for a while, still relatively young, Michelle Trachtenberg. She was on Gossip Girl. I remember her from Eurotrip back in the day. I always remember that scene with her having the absinthe. She's been in a lot of stuff, but she was actually found deceased today in New York City in her apartment. And as of now, um, the autopsy is ongoing, but as of now, they think that it might be natural causes. She has recently had some health issues. There have been some sources that she has recently, within the last year, had a liver transplant. It does seem like she has had some medical issues that she's been dealing with in the in at least in the last year. But just so sad. She was so young, so talented, and she really was a great comedic actress, and just way too young, way before her time. Just a sad, sad story. So her friends, family, everyone, our heart goes out to you, and just such a loss. But 39, and I guess the call was due to a cardiac issue. So we don't know if there's complications from the transplant or if she had other medical issues. But just so sad and just too young. Just such a loss. Now, let's work our way over into the world of entertainment. The last few weeks, Married at First Sight have been a little tense. And I haven't watched Married at First Sight a lot this season. Married at First Sight, I'm in and I'm out. I like to watch when the couples are arranged together and the wedding day. And then I like to watch when they're on their honeymoon. Because usually about like day 2 into the honeymoon, things start to change. You can see if somebody's really not interested in the other person. You can see if it's just not going to work out. There's a major personality clash. That's usually what you see at about day 2. You know what they say? You learn so much about someone when you travel with them. And boy, you do when it is an arranged marriage, because everything's coming at you at once. You're just meeting this person. You're thrown into a wedding. You have to put on the show for the reception, and then you're cast off to a honeymoon to some beautiful location. And that's always when it gets so good. The first day, they're like, oh, this is beautiful, the excitement, and just kind of getting familiar with one another is day 1. Day 2, they've had about 48 hours with you, and they're either over you, done with you, or just let me feel this one out. When they are done, that's when it gets really good. And like I like to always talk about, which is Married at First Sight Australia, which is the best one, my favorite, which is, please someone tell me how I can watch it. Okay, the last season I saw was with Harrison, who, again, the biggest villain I've ever seen on a dating show, but probably one of the most memorable seasons I've ever seen in my life. And again, just to watch the counselors, the therapist behind the screens, or sometimes when they have the one-on-one interviews, how they were just blown away by Harrison. I mean, it was just excellent television. But this is the American version, Married at First Sight, I believe season 16. Really nothing's happened this whole season until Michelle, who really kind of wasn't into her arranged husband anyway, went in full PI investigator and got to the nitty gritty, found text messages that her husband was texting with somebody else. And of course, he said it was something weird. The excuses he gave were just absolutely insane. And women, let me give you a warning. When you see something amiss when it comes to a spouse, like something's not adding up, the text messages or timelines or receipts, when something's not there, it doesn't add up. The formula, the math's not adding up, and you confront your spouse, and they immediately are hyper defensive, and then spin the situation, and then spin it all the way back around to, you're crazy, you're overreacting, it's you're crazy. Let me just tell you from the get-go, he is in the wrong. He's doing you dirty, and you're on the scent, and that's why he's got to call you crazy. He's got to say, you're out of your mind. There's no way this is happening, because they're guilty. Just saying, life lesson, I've learned it the hard way. We all learn the hard way. But listen to your Auntie Jillian. I'm telling you, ladies, gentlemen, and this goes for girls too, when they do that to you, okay, man or woman, you're crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. That text, I'm not texting someone. I'm not talking to them. You're overreacting. Are you? Or are you figuring it out? And that person's very defensive because you're guilty. Okay? So, with that being said, let's work our way back to Michelle and David. David, you are disgusting. You could not be more unlikable than you were in this week's past episode, which is to say after last week's because you came off as the biggest dick. Now, Michelle was married to David, arranged. Michelle really, really wasn't feeling him. He's immature. He still lives in his mama's basement in your mid to late 30s. Okay. And not even like a sophisticated apartment in the basement. If it's one thing like, hey, my mom's not well, or we're having family stuff, and or I'm having family financial problems. This is a temporary thing. Maybe. That was not the case. This man had been living in the basement, hadn't lived anyone else that I know of, and just thought that mess was just like the coolest setup. And so, Michelle, I get it. Major turnoff there. But she wasn't really into him, and you could tell, but she was at least trying and at least willing to work through the process and learn some life skills of, when it comes to relationships. And well, she's going to get them. So she's seen these text messages on David's phone, like, girl, you look so fine, I'm going to eat you. And she's like, is this text message for me? Because, we're not really getting along that well, and we're not really there in our relationship. So if it's not for me, who's it for? And his response was very weird and said, it's from my cousin. She's like, I don't know about you, but I don't talk to my cousin that way. And he's like, well, my cousin's a big foodie. We're big foodies. And that's really what it's about. She's like, I don't think so. And I said in last week's episode, she's given me season 1 Stassi Stroder. How she went in on Jax. The story doesn't add up. The text don't add up. The timeline doesn't add up. Please, I'm giving Heather Gay receipts, timeline, proof, all that. That fits in this situation. Didn't add up then. Stassi busted Jax. Now Michelle busted David. So come to find out, yes, those text messages were not for her. They were for a woman that was also in the experiment with the other couples and Married at First Sight, and that name was Madison. Yes, Madison, Buff Madison with the arms. She was flirting around with David. David and Madison are now interested in each other, flirting. They both denied it. Michelle confronted Alan, who's married to Madison, again, arranged, and he was really into her. He was really into Madison, trying to make it work. And you can tell she really wasn't into him. But she said she was trying. She's like, I just want to give it time. I just want to. Well, she was not. Because when they finally got busted and everybody was confronted, Michelle confronted David, Michelle confronted Madison. Of course, David denied it at first. Madison was like, okay, it's true. It's true. We were texting. I don't know if it was for me, that text, but maybe, but there's a connection. And he was so gross when Michelle confronted him. He's like, yeah, we were vibing. We weren't. She gave me more. You didn't. He was just so dismissive, so rude, just made my blood boil. Not only are you caught, you're wrong. And you were lying, but just to be that freaking rude to her and that freaking disrespectful, done with you, dead to me. So, of course, everybody's rallying around Michelle because they're like, this guy and Madison, they did you dirty. And even though you guys maybe didn't have the strongest relationship and it probably wouldn't have worked out, you probably would have asked for a divorce at the end of this experiment. this is really messed up. And we were supposed to be friends. She was trying to be your friend. David was trying to be Alan's friend. And here they are behind your back. You guys are making out, you're hanging out. And of course, they denied it. And God, you gotta love editing, because last week they were showing the cut footage where they would Madison would have a fight with her husband Alan, and she's like, I'm going to go hang out with my friends. And then they would pan into when the cameras would catch her coming in late at night, and they would have the same video of like David coming into his apartment at the same time Madison was coming into her apartment. Two separate apartments, but those two individuals coming into their separate apartments at the same time. So this has been going on for a while, you dirty dogs. So it's out. They're interested in each other. They're cheating. The other couples are pretty annoyed and pissed because they've been lied to as well, and they're actually trying to work it out. But when they were confronted at the end, of course, this was the final episode where the end of the season, where people were saying, do they want to stay? They didn't want a divorce. I think Camila and her husband were the only ones that actually stayed together. But it doesn't matter, because the Madison and David thing, when they were sitting in front of Pastor Cal, Dr. Pepper, and Dr. Pia, I mean, even sometimes to watch the therapist reaction when they're just getting nothing but bullshit thrown at them. And they're the experts, right? They have been doing this years. They are well seasoned in their craft, right? They have heard it all. They have seen it all. But just the level of disrespect, just to see them just like disgusted by David. So David and Michelle come in to speak to the therapist and say, what has their relationship been like, and where they are now, and where they stand with this whole affair, right? So Michelle was very composed. She just seems really kind of numb, but she knows she won this one, and everyone is on her side. So she doesn't have to do anything but sit there and take the high road and just look beautiful. That's all you have to do, Michelle. And she did. So she was just like, well, these were my suspicions. And at the end of the day, against all the lies and all the BS that he gave me in the runaround, at the end of the day, my intuition was right, and I was right, and he was having an affair on me. And the therapist turned to David, and they're like, well, what do you want to say? I mean, as soon as he sat down, he was just like, you could tell he didn't want to be there. Just disgusted, repulsed to even sit next to Michelle, who hasn't really done anything wrong. The only thing that Michelle did is she checked his ego. She didn't let him think that he was the coolest and the greatest gift to women, because he's not. That he's just Mr. Fly, because he's not, because you still live in your mama's basement. Okay. Just saying. So this guy was just rude. Like, I'm just over it. I'm just checked out. This isn't what I want. I wasn't feeling it. And Dr. P was like, so what is this? Why are you so disrespectful right now? I don't understand this level of disrespect. Why are you so angry at her? She's not doing anything wrong here, and you've already left the marriage. So why do you have such a high level of discontent when you're moving on in another relationship, and you're expressing, in order to be happy and move forward, that would be to have Madison in it. So if you're not here with Michelle, and that is, you're going with Madison, why are you so angry at her? Because she has already said she no longer wants to be with you. You don't want to be with her. She doesn't want to be with you. So why are you so angry? And he just gave this, like, I'm over it. I'm just checked out. It's been a while since I have seen that level of immaturity. I mean, it was a full-on temper tantrum. Just so low of a character of a man. Madison, I hope you are watching this, because these are all major flares, girl. These are life-saving flares that you see coming off a ship, letting you know this man is going to do the same to you. How you meet him, is how you lose them, right? So if you meet him in an affair, high chances you're going to lose him to an affair. And if you meet him an affair and treats her so horrendously, and I'm talking about Michelle, who didn't do anything but bust your ass. I hope you are watching Madison because he was so heinous to Michelle and so unnecessarily so. So he will do that to you. If he will do it to her, who hasn't done anything wrong, what if you guys get into a fight or you do something to him? How do you think he's going to treat you? Because he has no cares for anyone but himself. He proved that loudly this past week. I mean, Pastor Cow was just like, "Oh, shit." Like, I have nothing to say to this piece of shit. Even I just can't even sit here and listen to this. You see, Dr. Pepper, who I kind of like Dr. Pepper, even though she got checked the other couple years ago, was it Kathy, the one in San Diego, like that. She just sat there, was like, like just disgusted. Dr. Pia, thank God someone stepped up because she's like, I want you to know by seeing your actions today, I have zero respect for you as a human being. I was like, thank you so much. I'm so glad someone said that. He was so repulsive as a human in that moment. So I hope the women in this world, they're in Chicago, women in Chicago, I hope you watch that because he's walking the streets. I hope he's probably a single man because I don't see how he could ever be in a healthy relationship with that kind of attitude. But women in Chicago, women in the States, all women are Bumble and Tinder and whatever dating app you are on. Know that face. Know that great hair. He's got some great hair. His name is David. And run, because that is what you're going to get. Somebody's going to treat you like shit, cheat on you, and never care about you more than he will ever care about himself. So that self-absorbed asshole is on the dating scene. Take notes, women. Take notes. He's out there. Madison, you need to listen and take notes because you're like, oh, David, you're so cute when you're just so shy. Even his approach when he was hitting on you, Madison, when you guys were at the driving range playing golf, I thought it was so gross. It was so just, oh, like he was like, yeah, I'm really feeling you. And I got your back, girl. Is that your line? Is that how you're going to get her? And the fact that you fell for it, Madison, girl, I'm looking at you. I am looking at you, Madison. You're not a girl's girl, and you obviously have hideous taste in people. It's adorable, but hideous taste in characters. That's all I'm going to say. But Married at First Sight ended on a high note because it was kind of a dull season. But I want Married at First Sight Australia. There's really nothing better than those dinner parties where the therapist watch from another room on the TV screen and just see everything play out in front of them. So good. So good. So please give me Married at First Sight Australia. I need you. I need you back right away. Now, speaking of Australia, has anybody watched Below Deck Down Under? God, do I love Captain Jason. What a cutie pie. But he's working hard. He's on it this season. He is making sure he's putting down the tough hand. He is the Capitan and he is the man in charge. So he is checking his list and checking it twice. Zarina, you all notice, girl. He got rid of Anthony, the sous chef. Cute, but just a douche. And he's out. He's out, but now Zarina, that is a huge galley, massive kitchen on a boat, and there's a lot of crew. It seems like there so many charters. Zarina, you look very frazzled. You look very scattered. I'm nervous for you. I still feel bad for the stews that have to run that food up 4 flights of stairs. And thank you to production and editing who count of stairs that the girls have climbed in a day. Like that's their pedometer, I should say. But my God, you'll see like 876 stairs, 1,200 stairs. Like, yeah. Oh, yeah. I cannot imagine how bad your legs are burning right now. But just to get that food up and down, up and down, up and down, crazy. But the charter this year or this past week, what's up with that? Was that a cult? What was that? I mean, even like Captain Jason had dinner with them, and after he left, he was like, awkward. Because the guy was just saying, the vibration, everybody's frequency, and oh God. Let me guess, is he gonna manifest? Please don't. Please, please, I do not need that in my sphere. Please, I don't want people to manifest near me, to give me their energy. I don't need that. When you see him like the primary kickback going, I'm on the most expensive boat, and he's showing pictures of the yacht that he's on to people on, I don't know, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. Oh, machismo. I can't even. But I just felt so bad for those girls. Marina, you and Captain Jason scuba diving were really, really cute. But Vihan seems to be the hot ticket on the boat. Harry's dating the model. Who would have thought? The Greek guy. I really like him. He is so quiet. He's not saying a word. Johnny, I almost forgot because he's so quiet, but he's adorable. He's always in his bed reading, just easy going. You gotta like that guy. He's Greek. You gotta like it. But Laura, and I feel like she's gonna break soon. But something's gonna go. We see clips where Harry's gonna lose it. Do him and Brianna split up? That's a lot in a confined space, being together all the time. That's a lot. But so far, I am enjoying Below Deck Down Under. They are cruising along the Seychelles. The Seychelles is definitely on my travel list. Always has been. And every week when I see more of the backdrop, it is just the most exquisite place. Definitely. So Below Deck Down Under is very good, but it's going to happen. You've got Zarina on the edge. She had a thing for Vihan. Now Vihan's kind of making out with Marina, she's really cute, the Rizzo girl. It's happening. And Zarina, so let's see how she handles. She doesn't like rejection, and she's a little bit of emotional. So it could be rocky, but I'm going to be watching. I like Below Deck. Aisha, I'm missing you this season, but I understand why you left. You were very clear why you were leaving. But we do miss you a little bit. But I do like seeing Laura, because she's like, I'm the best. I'm going to do it, which all the head stews do. But this is a boat of it that will really challenge you. So let's see how well she does. But I'm liking it so far. Now, I need to go to some other Bravo shows. Let's get to Potomac. Potomac reunion, not really much has happened. We are still in the throes with Mia and all the other stuff. But let's just talk about it. It's just happened today, everyone. We've been talking about it for weeks. The reunion of Potomac is happening right now. We have been talking about the sentencing of Karen Hugo, the Grand Dame of Potomac. And today was the day. This morning, Montgomery County, Maryland, in the courthouse, Karen Huger was sentenced today. Let's get into it. Yes, Karen Huger she was arrested for DUI March 19th. It was an accident. She had her court case last year, was found guilty on most of the charges. Well, today she was sentenced to 2 years, or 1 suspended year. So she'll be only serving 1 year in jail. She's already fulfilled 1 year. So 2 years, 1 already been fulfilled. So 1 has been suspended, and 5 years of probation, and to pay $2,900 in fees. So Karen's going to the big house. This is her second offense. Maybe if this were her first offense, maybe if the police body cam video wasn't linked. I mean, that did not look good. That did not look good. And you probably should have gone. This was discussed in the reunion on the first part of the reunion. Then when Andy first said, let's address who's not here. Karen's not here. Karen's in treatment. And everyone's like, well, that's nice. She's in treatment, but she probably should have done treatment before she went to court for, to see if she was found guilty or not. She didn't. She rode that one hard. I think she thought she was Johnny Cochran or something, like, you must have quit. I don't know, but she was like, the truth will be found out and I will be cleared. That's what she was giving us the whole season. Well, guilty. And she will be serving 2 years, but 1 year's already been suspended, and 5 years of probation. Do you think Ray is happy to have a quiet house for 1 year? Do you think he's going to forego the lease of that like McMansion in Potomac that's not theirs and just probably get like Ray has been talking about he wants to go to Florida, retire in a condo. I think that's what he's talked about, and go play golf. He likes to go to the DR every year and play his golf. Who doesn't like to go to the DR every year? I love the DR. So I'm with you, Ray. I think Ray, get out of that lease, okay, in the Potomac. Go get yourself a nice little penthouse condo in Florida, wherever, and that way you're that closer to play to the DR. Your trips to the DR to go play golf. You can play golf every day in the Florida weather. You enjoy that year of quiet. And do you think when she gets out, will they still be married? Do you think he's going to file divorce? Because we remember 2 years ago when Karen had the therapist over, and the therapist during couples therapy asked Ray, do you still love Karen? And he was like, I think so. I think I love her. And you could tell that just absolutely crushed Karen in that moment. But the guy's struggling. He is holding on to this relationship, trying to, but you can tell he's numb. He is checked out. But you gotta love Ray. But Ray has been there through this whole court process with her. But Karen, guilty, going to jail. So let's just say she will not be on next season. Remember, they had that year without Teresa. And when she came back, I think it was one of the highest rating seasons. So will a similar situation happen? And will she be even offered to come back at all? I don't know. We shall see. Will the Grand Dame of Potomac be coming back? Because she even said in her little video she sent on part 1 of the reunion, I will come back only as Karen Hugo because it's enough for me. So will Karen be back? I don't know. Will Karen be back? Will Karina be back? Will Jazzy be back? I don't know. Stacey will be back. I think Stacey was interesting. And you got to see a little bit of her come out of her shell at the end of the season. Not a lot. We're starting to get a little bit about this whole TJ thing. Was he a fake boyfriend? I don't think anybody believed that they were a serious relationship. I love him. He's my best friend. Okay, first of all, are you 12 in middle school? What is it? So when they were asking, okay, you're not dating anymore. So you guys have split. You no longer consider yourself a relationship. Do you still have communication? She's like, oh yeah, we speak every day. We're still best friends. So so nothing's changed. Okay. It could have been, but it's not now. I think we all saw that this relationship was not going to go anywhere, but interesting. She's already divorced. She's like, I'm already divorced. It's official. It's done. And even like Mia and Ashley, like, oh wow, Ashley isn't divorced yet. It's in the process. It's in the process of court. So it's in the works. It's in the court's hand at this point. Mia, I don't know where you are. But poor Gordon, look, it's a mess. And just please stop bringing Gordon back into this mess. Like, this guy needs to work on himself, get himself healthy. Mia, you need to work on yourself. And please, as beautiful and as adorable as your children are, please get them off the TV. You deal with this stuff separately. Don't bring them into it. Okay. I'm not going to say anything about your kids, but they are so cute. They don't need to see this. That's it. But that's Potomac. Now let's get over to Beverly Hills. Oh, last night's episode, Kaftans and Caviar. So good episode. I enjoyed the drama. Sutton is super pissy, super catty, and super petty this season. And as a viewer, I'm here for it. I am so here for it. You've got Jennifer Tilly, who again, I love. I hope she comes back. She has been such a great addition this season. I love her goofiness. And I love how everyone, especially Erica, just loves staring at Jennifer Tilly's glam, her jewelry, her clothing, her accessory. I mean, Erica's always like, I covet thy woman's possessions. You know, she's like, I love her jewelry. I love her clothing. I love her style. I love her accessories. I love everything. I love the fact that she has a house next to a house. She has a gathering party house and, her living home side by side, Bel Air, Beverly Hills. How amazing. God, every time she's on the screen, I'm just like, how can I not love her more? And I do. I love her a little bit more each time. So this episode, this time, Jennifer Tilly's going to be hosting a party. And some really good parties this season. Sutton's avant-garde party this season, surrealism, was, I think, one of the coolest parties I've seen on any of the Housewives in a long time. But there's been some good parties and some, spa treatments where Kyle runs out in the road in her bathrobe. They've all been good. But I like this caviar one too. It's a small, intimate setting. Just wait until I start talking about the food. Oh my God. Jennifer Tilly's looking at a lot of spaces for her party. And it's at Caviar Caspia. Wow. It looks like a very small, intimate setting. Looks very cute, very quaint, but we're going to break that one down here in a minute. You also have a story where you see Bose and her boyfriend talking to a fertility specialist because they are really into each other and they really both want to have a child. And when she has talked about her experiences in the past with fertility and pregnancy and how she lost her first daughter during pregnancy with preeclampsia. Oh my God, just heartbreaking story. And the struggle she had during her second pregnancy. And she had a beautiful daughter out of it now, who is just so mature beyond her years and just gorgeous, her daughter. But both of her pregnancy were extremely hard at a young age, at her early 30s. So her now at that time at 47, with all the challenges the age may bring to the fertility, just all the other challenges that she may have physically with her body and age and just all the challenges that just come with pregnancy, no matter how young and healthy you may be. So that was really interesting to see. We've seen it before in the past, but like seems to be really going through it. And I think that's watching her go through this at a later stage in life is what so many women are going through right now. And to see her in this process, and the struggles emotionally, psychologically, physically, preparing for it, I am enjoying watching it because I think so many women are facing that right now. Absolutely. Fascinating to hear what the fertility doctor said. She really broke it down very easy for her, what the chances are, the possibilities, this, that, and this. But it looks like your eggs are good and healthy for your age, Bo. So best of luck to you and your boyfriend. If you do choose to go down the road, we wish you all the best. Now, let's just get right into the party because that really was most of the show. Oh, hold on. I just want to get into, there was a very good scene between Kyle and her therapist life coach. I was a little shocked by the scene. I feel like kind of all things were off the table, right? All the all the secrets, all the protection is I don't want to discuss truly what's going on, my hard emotions of what I'm going through, my real emotions of pain and confusion and just heartbreak and all those mixed emotions that go with separation, divorce, and struggles in a relationship. It's a lot. And Kyle was sitting down with her therapist slash life coach, which I had to tell you, we've seen a lot of life coaches and therapists on the show. Um, he was probably one of the most straight shooters I've ever seen. We've had a few, but I like this guy. And he was pretty straight up with Kyle. Kyle was talking to her therapist that this is the first summer that they haven't traveled as a family. And Mauricio took Portia on a vacation alone. She's never been away from Portia, her daughter, that way. And it's just weird and lonely. And it's messing with her mind and emotions because, she's in this weird space of, I don't know where to go. I don't know how to feel. I don't know if I could, should, or will move forward. I don't know. But he's in his new space, his own space in this condo and living his life and doing as he chooses. I'm still in the family home and I'm still living the life that I always did, although different. Not a lot has changed for me other than you're not here. And he's living his life, and I think he's out dating and enjoying himself to the fullest. And now that he's experiencing that, I don't know if he's ever going to want to kind of circle back around to this. And she said, one of the things that Mauricio said that I never thought I could live alone. And now I know I can. She's like, that really kind of hit me hard because he didn't say, I could never live without you. He said, I never thought I could live alone. And I know I can. And that hit really hard. And she said, another thing that kind of hit really hard is that when we decided to do this, he didn't fight for me. He was just like, well, I guess we'll figure it out. But he didn't fight for me. And that really hurt. And I don't know what to do. I don't really know where to go. I don't know. Do I move forward? Is it time that I just say, I don't want to do this anymore and I should just move on? Or I don't know. I might want to take him back. I don't know. And I think her being all over the place emotionally, psychologically, I think that's okay. When your life has just completely been blown up in a million pieces and just is shattered everywhere, it's hard to put it back together and it's never going to look the same, right? And it's okay to take your time. But again, it's been almost 2 years, I think, that they've kind of been separated. So what do you do? And she's like, here we are. And now I kind of have to make that decision. And then, of course, then you see the videos and the pictures coming out of the paparazzi of Mauricio greeting his girlfriend in the airport. And of course, all the other housewives are like, did you see the pictures the paparazzi took? And then you have Sutton. God, let me get into Sutton. Sutton, I love you. I am a Sutton gal all the way. I love Sutton. I love me some Sutton. I love her digs. I love her jewelry. I love her design. I love her fashion. I love her cattiness. I love her self little phrases. I love it. I even love a little bit of mean Sutton. I like it. She gives me Dorinda Medley a little bit when she gets real pissed and goes right for the jugular. Dorinda does that. And I love Dorinda Medley too. Do not get me wrong. I would love to sit there. Okay, I'm going to be honest. If I had a Real Housewives cocktail hour, let me tell you, he would absolutely be at that table. I would be having a delicious, dirty martini with Dorinda and Sutton, rather women at that table. But let me tell you, Dorinda and Sutton would definitely be on it. I'm going to have to think who would be my Mount Rushmore and who would be at my happy hour table of housewives. I'm going to get back to you on that one. But I know that those two would definitely be at my happy hour table. I want to have a martini. I want to get in and I want to hear it because they give it to you. They give it to you straight. Now, so Sutton she was talking to, I think it was Garcelle, and they were like, did you see the pictures of Mauricio at the airport? And then you have Sutton going, I have been to that airport. I have been to that airport, and I can tell you that there are no paparazzi. And I was even there with an A-list celebrity, such as Jennifer Aniston, and there was no paparazzi. So just so you know, there's no paparazzi, because she was telling Garcelle, I think that picture was a setup. There's usually not paparazzi at that airport. So I think somebody definitely called and tipped off the paparazzi. And everyone's like, oh, okay. So that's Sutton's theory. Could it have happened? Maybe. Could the girlfriend have tipped off? Oh, my boy toy Mauricio is going to be there. I don't know. I think Kyle is in now. She's like, look, I don't honestly think Mauricio thought he was going to get a picture taken. And everyone's like, you don't think that maybe a man in the public eye that's constantly in the blogs and the tabloids about this whole separation, you don't think that if he's out dating somebody else that somebody might not take a pic? You don't think so? And she's like, no, I don't think it was intentional. I don't think it was. And everybody's just like, okay, Kyle, fine, totally fine. But yeah, she didn't see it coming. So there's that. Kyle just had the therapy session. Kyle just saw the pictures coming out with Mauricio. So now let's go to the Kaftans and caviar party. So everybody gets to Caviar Caspia, which again, cute, intimate, looks very small. I could not believe the amount of money and little bit portions of food where they're like, I know caviar is outrageous. But thank you to the editors for flashing the price points there. When they flashed out that big potato, I'm sorry, I hate to go on like a tangent. Did you see that big potato with caviar? So the price ranged from $250 to $1,000 for a baked potato just topped with caviar. Did you see the plate? It was basic. If I'm paying $250 to $1,000 for a baked potato with caviar, that plate better be decorated beautifully by, I don't care, you better have an artist in the back that gives me some swirls. There better be like a chive infused whipped sour cream on that plate. There better be like the most beautiful butter sculpture I've ever seen. Cheeses, I don't know. Anything to make that plate look beautiful for something that expensive. Nope, not at all. It was just a plain old ugly baked potato, caviar topped on top. I could not believe the lack of presentation on the food. I could not believe it. I was shocked. But they're all there and they immediately get into it. Dorit and Sutton, boom, get right into it. And it gets ugly so quickly. I'm just going to kind of condense the fight there. She's like, the other day, you were mean, and I'm tired of you being mean. And I think that is very true. Sutton is so tired of putting up with everyone's bullshit for years. She's got it from everybody. She was always kind of the quirky one and the one on the outside. Interesting that Sutton's showing up at the party with Kyle, right? Kyle and Kyle's assistant. Even more interesting that Faye Resnick shows up with Kathy Hilton because she's always so close with with Kyle. Now, I'm sure she's friends with the whole family, but I'm going to come back to Faye because Faye's been a friend of for since the beginning. I don't think we can all ever forget the most amazing dinner party ever in the history of the world of the Real Housewives. That was, I think it was season 1, right? Um, with the dinner party with Camille Grammer and the Dubois, the psychic. That was the big. He will never satisfy you and her e-cigarette. Oh my God, that was the greatest dinner party ever. Um, but Faye Resnick was there. So Faye's been a friend of from the beginning. You see Faye, she'll come in and out through every season because she's a friend of. So Faye shows up with Kathy Hilton. And, Dorit and Sutton are going into it. Basically, Sutton saying, you really pissed me off. That was the final straw when you said the other day that you made another reference about alcohol and me. And you have been insinuating for over the years that I have a drinking problem. And you've put it out there for the universe to hear and make these speculations against me. And it's wrong, it's hurtful, and it's really, really messed up. And you even see in a cameo where Kyle was like, now that I've gone home with Sutton and I heard the stories with her father, and Sutton was saying that he was self-medicated with medicine and alcohol. She's like, I can understand now how it's really a trigger. It hits too close and it's very sensitive. I get it a little bit more now. Now, let's not forget that Kyle was the one that kind of put that out last season. Anyway, but Dorit's going to get in trouble for it because Dorit kept perpetuating that rumor. So she was like, I'm over it. You keep doing it. And it was bullshit the other day at your party when Garcelle asked me what I was drinking. And I said, this lovely cocktail that you had on your menu. And it was very refreshing. And Garcelle said, is there alcohol in it? And Dorit said, are you seriously asking her if there's alcohol in it? And she got pissed. And she went, you bitch, Dorit, and just stormed out of her house. And it carried over until this party. And she's like, I'm sick of it. And I guess what? She's like, well, you called me a bitch in my house. That's what Dorit said, because they're just going back and forth, back and forth. And she's like, you're right. I probably should have called you fucking bitch. And not only that, I'm tired of you picking on me. I've had it. And you need to pick on somebody that matches your wallet. Because my wallet is bigger than yours, and I'm sick of your shit. And you just saw everybody go, oh no, oh. And you even see Erica say, oh, so you think you're bigger than her? And Sutton says, I think my wallet is. And while everybody in that moment was like, oh, that's too low. That's too low. And you can just see, like, she is seething with anger. Sudden, she's just sitting there, like, with like the beady eyes and just giving it to, just Missy. And she is so mad. And she is like a Southern grandma giving it to you. When they get mad, they get the eyes and let me tell you something, the head's going, I have been in that wrath before, so I know it. And Sutton was giving it. And you know what? Was it too far? Maybe it was a little too far, but I think Dorit finally deserved to get a little something because she's just been kind of shitty and passive aggressive to her and a lot of other people throughout the seasons. And yeah. Jennifer Tilly was actually on Andy Cohen's show last night, Watch What Happens Live. And of course, they were pulling it. And Sutton's like, usually I always agree with Sutton, but I don't know where this is going to go. She's like, but Sutton's definitely a fan favorite, and everybody loves Sutton. And I love that Jennifer Tilly's ride or die Sutton. Even Erica's like, I love Jennifer Tilly. I just absolutely love Jennifer Tilly. I think everything about her is amazing. I don't know how she's friends with Sutton. And I love how she always backs up Sutton, even right or wrong. Sometimes you need that girlfriend. You really do. You just need that ride or die girl. And I love that Jennifer Tilly and Sutton together. I hope nothing comes in between that. Sutton did kind of ruin her caviar party a little bit. But she definitely spiced it up. I'm always going to remember Caviar Caspia from Jennifer Tilly's party. I can't imagine how much she spent, the grand total of that dinner. or lunching, really, it was. But it was a really good dinner party. But everybody was like, "Ooh, oh my God, Sutton, too far, too low. Whoa, whoa, whoa." But it was good. It was good. She is over it. I want to see how Sutton comes out of this one. I think she's going to have to do a major apology tour. But I do want to see it. I do want to see it. But this week, The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills was very, very good. The one thing I wanted to say, who would have thought that Faye Resnick would have come to the defense of Sutton and been the voice of reason? Which, by the way, I loved it so much. I mean, and by the way, Kathy Hilton, so quiet this season. I like Kathy. I really like Kathy. Kathy, all you need to do is just show up in your lemon Kaftans and just sit there, smile, look shocked. Because everyone, like literally every episode that Kathy Hilton's been in, and there's been a few, like the one where she had her party and Dorit just kind of let go, and she's like, "Oh, I didn't think that you were going to say that." Her facial expression during this whole luncheon was shocking. But Faye Resnick, the voice of reason, comes out of everyone. She's like, "Okay, Sutton, I probably drink as much as you do," and everybody's like, "Oh, oh." And she's like, "And I get it. I just want to have fun." Live my life the way I want to without anyone's judgments or comments because it's my business and nobody else. And that's really what it is. It's nobody's it's nobody's business but my own on how I live my life. And it's the judgment and the comments that's really the problem. And Sutton just went, "Yeah, yeah, go Faye. Faye Resnick, the voice of reason." So I just thought this was such a good episode of Beverly Hills. It was a good one. It was good. 2 thumbs up for me. I won't forget Caviar Caspa, Jennifer Tilly. You really rocked out that Kafkan. I was like, how much is that Kafkan? The jewelry. God, I love her. She's great. So, great episode. So thank you so much for joining us today on Poly1. It has been a great time being with you. Please follow, like, subscribe anywhere you get your feed, and we'll be back to next time to bring in the fun. Thanks so much and have a great day.